Welcome to WealthRise Stories, where clarity meets knowledge, and knowledge becomes financial power.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to WealthRise Stories. I hope you've all had a powerful week full of great experiences. Today we're skipping the quick tips and fleeting financial hacks. Instead, I want to invite you on a deeper journey, a real deep dive into one of the biggest questions humanity has asked for thousands of years. I have a question that I'm sure every single one of us has asked ourselves, maybe while looking at someone else's success or facing our own challenges. Do you believe that getting rich, building a truly prosperous life, is an art form? Is it something that can be learned, honed, and intentionally practiced? Or is it just a game of chance, a roll of the dice? Is it about being in the right place at the right time? Is it reserved for those born with business in their blood? Or the lucky few who hit the lottery? Take a second to really think about that. If wealth creation is an art, what are the rules? What techniques can we learn and apply? And if it's not an art, why do some people always seem to find the path to prosperity, while others constantly struggle? Because this isn't just idle curiosity. This question touches the very core of our efforts and the value we create and our hope for a better future. Personally, I believe the answer to this question shapes exactly how we view our work, our money, and our lives. To find the answer, we're turning back the clock to a legendary figure, a man whose name is iconic yet often misunderstood because of the flashy exterior and the illusion he created. P.T. Barnum. Now, when you hear Barnum, you probably picture the dazzling circus, the spectacles, the bold PR stunts of a great showman. You might picture a guy who just wanted to entertain the masses, a genius deceiver, or a marketing master on a whole different level. But today, I want you to push that image aside. We're looking at P.T. Barnum through a totally different lens. Because behind the smoke and mirrors, behind the stories of bearded ladies and giants, Barnum was a razor-sharp intellect. He was a master of human psychology, and more importantly, a man who systematized timeless financial principles, lessons on how to build sustainable wealth. He didn't just know how to make money from his shows. He understood deeply how to make his money grow, how to keep it, and how to manage it wisely to build a lasting empire. His book, The Art of Money Getting, isn't a manual on scams, loopholes, or get-rich-quick schemes. Honestly, if you're looking for secrets to becoming an overnight millionaire, you're in the wrong place. That's not the path Barnum followed. And it's not what we're exploring here. Instead, this book is a collection of life rules, business philosophies, and financial management principles that are still valuable over a century later. In fact, they are arguably even more practical in our complex modern world. These are foundational principles that anyone, regardless of their starting point, can apply to build a solid financial future. In this episode and throughout this upcoming series, we're going to connect Barnum's golden advice with the modern financial landscape. We aren't going to talk about how to pinch every penny or which hot stock to buy, or the latest real estate trend. You can find that stuff anywhere else. Instead, we're digging into mindset, into principles, into the foundation that Barnum believed was the key for anyone to build prosperity. This is a journey to discover the fundamental laws, not just to make money, but to create real value, build sustainable wealth, and live a meaningful life. No empty promises of getting rich overnight or million-dollar secrets in 24 hours. Instead, we're talking about a deep understanding of people of the market, of how cash flow works, and most importantly, understanding ourselves in this financial game. We'll learn to view money as a tool, a vehicle to achieve freedom and dreams, not as the final goal itself. So, are you ready? Prepare to open your mind, rethink the old questions, and find fresh practical answers. Come with me into the world of P.T. Barnum. not to find tricks or gimmicks, but to unlock a real art, the art of making money with principle, ethics, and sustainability. I believe that by the end of this journey, your view on money and wealth will never be the same. Let's find out if this art of money getting truly exists, and if so, what we can learn from one of history's most controversial yet talented figures. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos in this exciting series. I'll see you guys in the deep dive. Hey guys, money, it's the eternal topic, right? Let's be real. There is probably nothing that causes more anxiety, pressure, or even pure joy than our finances, especially in this 21st century whirlwind where everything demands we be faster, more efficient, and, well, richer. Today we're doing a deep dive into a book that might seem like a relic from a bygone era, but I guarantee its golden rules are more relevant now than ever before. The book is The Art of Money Getting, by a legend you've definitely heard of, P.T. Barnum. When you hear that name, what pops into your head? The circus tycoon, the master of advertising, the guy who invented the spectacle, and maybe even the genius con that we now call showmanship. Exactly, that's him. But P.T. Barnum wasn't just a great entertainer. He was a wildly successful entrepreneur who understood the very nature of money and how it moves through society. The Art of Money Getting was written in the 19th century, an era of rapid change right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. Opportunities were booming, but so was cutthroat competition. Barnum distilled his hard-earned wisdom into philosophies on how to make, keep, and use money wisely. And here's the kicker. This isn't some get-rich-quick scheme filled with complex tricks. Instead, it contains foundational, practical, and sometimes shockingly simple principles for building sustainable wealth. Now let's get real for a second. I know the feeling, and I've been there myself, stuck in the hamster wheel of modern financial pressure. You know what I'm talking about, hustle culture. That feeling that if you aren't grinding 24/7, you're falling behind. The pressure to flex on social media, to own the latest tech, to book those luxury trips. It all pushes us into consumption and debt, from credit cards to those buy now, pay later traps. Sometimes I wonder, am I living for money, or is money living for me? Is there a way out of this rat race without selling everything and moving to a cave in the mountains? That's exactly when I found The Art of Money Getting. At first, I thought, what can a guy from the 1800s teach me about the digital age? But reading it honestly floored me. Barnum isn't talking about stocks, crypto, or TikTok shop. He's talking about the basics, life rules we've either forgotten or overcomplicated in our modern world. It's not a magic pill, but it was like a breath of fresh air, a necessary pause to rethink everything. His advice might sound old school, but it's the key to solving so many of the financial headaches we face today. So what are we actually doing with this book on my channel? This won't be a dry, boring reading where I just drone on word for word. No way. Think of this as a humanized audiobook or a deep dive commentary. I won't just read. I'll analyze, interpret, and most importantly, help you apply these tips to our modern contexts. I'm going to build a bridge from the 19th century to the 21st. We'll figure out which golden rules are timeless, which ones need a digital update, and which ones can actually help us find peace and financial freedom in this chaotic world. To keep things easy to follow, here is how this series will be structured. The focus. Each video will tackle one or two key rules from the book. Things like select the right vocation, don't mistake your vocation, or don't depend on luck. The source. First, we'll read Barnum's actual words. The breakdown. Then I'll analyze it. What did he mean? What was the context? Why does it matter? The modern take next. I'll give my personal take, real-world examples and stories from my life or people I know, to show how you can apply this right now in your job, your business, or your spending habits? The reflection, finally, will wrap up with some open questions so you can find the answer that fits your specific situation. I truly believe that even though Barnum lived a century ago, his financial wisdom is exactly what we need in a world saturated with information and empty promises of instant riches. So come join me on this journey, not just to learn how to make money, but to learn how to live a freer, more meaningful life. Don't forget to smash that like button, share this with anyone you think needs a financial reset, and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of this special humanized audiobook series. Catch you in the next episode where we dive straight into rule number 1. Today we are cracking open a classic wealth-building book written by a figure who might actually surprise you, P.T. Barnum. Yeah, that P.T. Barnum, the entertainment mogul, the circus king who built an empire and arguably a master of the money game. The Art of Money Getting isn't some dry finance textbook. It's a collection of sharp practical advice forged in the fires of Barnum's own roller coaster life. And in Chapter 1 of this series, we are going straight to the foundation of all prosperity: select the right vocation. Let's dig deep into Barnum's first rule. Put the right person in the right place. Part 1. The call of vocation, more than just a job. When Barnum talks about putting the right person in the right place, he's not just talking about getting a job to pay the bills. He's talking about a vocation. Now that word might sound a bit old school, but it has a deep meaning. A vocation isn't just a career. It's a calling. It's a natural inclination, a field you feel you were born to be in. It is the perfect harmony between your natural talents and your actual environment. Think of it this way. Imagine you are a cactus seed. Nature designed you to withstand drought, to survive, and to thrive in dry, hot deserts. Now, if you stubbornly try to plant yourself in a swamp, wet, muddy soil all year round, are you going to reach your full potential? No way. You'll rot, you'll get sick, and you probably won't even survive. Conversely, if you're a water lily, you need tons of water to grow. Planting you in the desert is just as bad as putting the cactus in the swamp. That is exactly what putting the right person in the right place means. Barnum wants us to find the climate and the soil that fits our nature. Find the thing you can do naturally, easily, and more effectively than the guy next to you. Part 2. The modern connection. Ikigai and the zone of genius. Barnum's philosophy from over a century ago perfectly aligns with the modern concepts we hear about today. I'm sure many of you have heard of the Japanese concept of ikigai, a philosophy for finding meaning and joy in life. Ikigai is found at the intersection of 4 circles: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. When you find the job or field where all 4 of these circles overlap, you've found your ikigai. That's where you maximize value, feel energized, and the money naturally follows. Sound familiar? That is exactly Barnum's vocation. Similarly, in the modern business world, we have the concept of the zone of genius. These are activities that, when you do them, you feel effortless. You don't have to force it. Energized. Instead of being drained, you actually feel recharged after doing the work. High impact. You create massive value compared to the effort you put in. Your zone of genius doesn't have to be some Einstein-level talent. It could be your ability to really listen to people, your knack for organizing chaos, your skill at connecting people, or seeing details everyone else misses. The key is that it comes naturally to you. When you work in your zone of genius, you aren't just more efficient, you're happier. And honestly, making money becomes a whole lot easier because you are providing unique value that no one else can deliver quite like you. Part 3. The harsh reality: passion is not enough now. Let's address the elephant in the room. I know what some of you are thinking. But what about passion? Isn't the advice always to follow your passion and the money will follow? Look, passion is crucial. I'm not denying that. It's the fuel that keeps you going through the hard times. But Barnum wants us to understand that passion alone is not enough. You might differ passionately about singing. You practice every day. You dream of being a star. But if your voice is just meh, or if the market has no demand for your specific style, or you lack the showmanship to entertain a crowd, then no matter how much passion you have, turning that into a stable, wealthy career is going to be an uphill battle. Or maybe you love painting. But if your style doesn't resonate with buyers, or you have zero business or marketing skills to get your art out there, that passion is going to have a hard time making money. The reality is, the right vocation sits at the intersection of your natural ability. What are you naturally good at? Your growth potential. What are you willing to learn and invest in? Market demand. What does the world need and can you provide it? If you rely only on passion without core competence or market acceptance, you're setting yourself up for burnout and disappointment. Part 4. The warning: don't chase trends. Here is another major warning from Barnum that screams 21st century. Do not chase temporary trends that don't fit your core strengths. The world is full of shiny object syndrome. Crypto AI dropshipping, becoming a YouTuber, TikToker, life coach. Every time something gets hot, people rush in without stopping to ask if they are actually built for it. For example, you see someone making millions in crypto, so you jump in without understanding the market, without analytical skills, without a strategy. The result? You lose money. Or you see a famous influencer, so you buy a camera and try to copy them. But if you aren't a natural communicator, if you can't tell a story, or if you don't have a unique personality for the camera, trying to blow up just because it's a trend is going to be exhausting. You'll just blend into the noise and feel lost. Barnum reminds us, chasing what everyone else is doing without that natural fit is like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. It wastes time, it wastes money, and it destroys your confidence. Part 5. Find your vocation. Take action now. So how do you find your vocation or your zone of genius? Take some time to honestly ask yourself, what do you do where time seems to fly by and it feels effortless? What do people constantly ask you for help with? What do they compliment you on? What problems do you solve more easily than other people? What are you willing to study and learn about without feeling forced, where you actually enjoy the process? Is there a problem in the world you genuinely care about solving? Don't think you need some grand earth-shattering talent. It just needs to be your natural strength, something you do better than average. And most importantly, something you enjoy and find meaning in. Barnum wants us to get this. The foundation of wealth isn't luck or some secret complex formula. It's self-awareness. It's placing yourself in the position to provide your maximum value to the world. When you do that, money, recognition, and success are just the natural byproducts. So that wraps up P.T. Barnum's first rule in The Art of Money Getting. Select the right vocation. Find your place. Be realistic about the market. Don't just follow blind passion or the latest hype. But this is just the start. Once you find your place, should you just get comfortable? In Chapter 2, we're going to dive into Barnum's second rule, a crucial reminder for anyone wanting sustainable wealth, the art of not resting on your oars. It's a philosophy on why we must never stop learning, adapting, and growing. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button, share this with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss the next value-packed video. See you in the next one. Welcome back to the Art of Money Getting series, where we are decoding the timeless financial philosophies of the master himself, P.T. Barnum. In the last chapter, we laid the foundation for a wealth mindset. We learned that money doesn't grow on trees and that getting rich is an art form you have to study. But listen, making money is only half the battle. The real war that's keeping it. It's about not letting money become your master. And that brings us to Chapter 2, The Invisible Shackles. The Danger of Debt. Barnum didn't mince words. He said it straight up, debt is a form of slavery. Sounds harsh, right? But is it? Does a credit card bill or a bank loan really turn us into slaves in the modern world? I believe that when we dig into the reality of debt, specifically the bad kind, you'll see Barnum wasn't exaggerating. In fact, it's a wake-up call that every single one of us needs to tattoo on our brains. To get this right, we have to draw a line in the sand between two types of debt: good debt and bad debt. What is good debt? This is debt you use as leverage. You use it to buy assets or increase your earning power. Think of it like planting a seed. You borrow the seed, put it in the ground, and it grows into a fruit tree that feeds you for years. Example: a mortgage on a rental property that pays you cash flow every month. Example: a loan to buy equipment that makes your business faster and more profitable. Example: student loans if, and only if, that degree actually gets you a higher paying career. These are calculated risks. The potential value created is higher than the interest you pay. But what about bad debt? This is the killer. This is borrowing money to buy liability stuff that loses value the second you touch it and puts $0 in your pocket. It's like eating a sugary candy. It tastes great for a second, but then it dissolves, leaving you with a cavity and a massive dentist bill. Example: financing a luxury car you can't afford just to look cool at stoplights. Example: maxing out credit cards for vacation designer clothes or bottle service at the club. Example: payday loans for stuff you don't need. Barnum wasn't saying all leverage is bad. He was saying uncontrolled consumer debt is slavery. To visualize this, let me tell you a story about a guy named Alex. Alex is young, ambitious, and full of energy. He lands a decent job, makes good money, and dreams of traveling the world. He thinks he's free, but then the FOMO, fear of missing out, kicks in. He sees his friends on Instagram flexing trip to Bali, new iPhone every September, expensive dinners. Alex feels like he's falling behind. He feels the pressure to live the lifestyle. First it's the phone. Then it's the weekend getaways to do it for the gram. Then he finances a brand new car to look successful. He doesn't have the cash, but the credit card companies open their arms and say, "Come on in, Alex. It's just a low monthly payment." Slowly, the invisible shackles tighten. The statements pile up. The notifications on his phone stop being likes and start being payment reminders. Alex starts working overtime. He takes freelance gigs just to cover the interest. He stops reading, stops learning, stops dreaming about the future because he's too stressed about the present. Then the heartbreaking moment happens. A dream job offer comes in. It's a huge opportunity, but it requires him to move to a new city and take a temporary pay cut to start. Alex freezes. He looks at his car note, his credit card balances his personal loans. He realizes he can't afford to take the risk. He's tethered to his current paycheck just to service his debt. He has to say no. Alex isn't living anymore. He's existing to pay bills. He became a slave to the numbers he created. Alex's story isn't rare. It's the story of millions of people stuck in the rat race. So what pushes people like Alex into these invisible shackles? It's the psychology of debt, instant gratification. We live in an Amazon Prime world. We want it now. Credit cards let us skip the saving part and go straight to the having part regardless of the long-term cost. Keeping up with the Joneses. This is a trap. Social media makes us compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. We spend money, we don't have to buy things, we don't need to impress people, we don't even like. The illusion of wealth. A credit limit isn't your money. But when you swipe it, feels like it is. It creates a false sense of security until the bill arrives. Retail therapy. We buy stuff to fill an emotional void. Bored, stressed, buy something. But the dopamine hit fades fast and the debt lasts forever. And here is the silent assassin: compound interest. You've heard Einstein call compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Well, it works both ways. When you invest, it's your best friend. When you have debt, it's your worst nightmare. Let's say Alex puts a $1,000 phone on a credit card at 25% APR and only makes the minimum payment. Month 1, most of his payment goes to interest barely touching the principal. The spiral. It could take him years to pay off that phone. By the time he's debt-free, he's paid double the price, and the phone is already in a landfill. That is the trap. Banks love minimum payments. They don't want you to pay it off. They want you to stay in debt forever. So Barnum was right. Bad debt strips you of your freedom. It takes away your options. It kills your peace of mind. Breaking these shackles requires self-awareness and serious discipline. It means delaying gratification. It means ignoring the social pressure. Remember, financial freedom isn't about having the most stuff. It's about having the power to choose how you live your life. I'll see you guys in the next chapter where we unlock the secret to wise spending, the true key to staying wealthy. Thanks for listening. Smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. See you at the top. Welcome back to the squad, and welcome back to the Art of Money Getting series. We've been breaking down the timeless wisdom of the OG money master, P.T. Barnum. If you've been riding with us from the start, we've covered the foundation, picking the right career and the value of hard work. But today, we are digging into the secret sauce. This is the single most critical factor that turns effort into results. Welcome to Chapter 3, The Power of Perseverance. Don't quit halfway. Now, a lot of people get this twisted. They think perseverance means being stubbornly blind, just banging your head against a brick wall until it breaks. But no. P.T. Barnum wants us to understand that real perseverance isn't about being mindless. It's about focused, intelligent, and directed effort over time. It's about keeping that fire alive, learning from every stumble, and adjusting your course until you hit the target. The gold miner mindset. Picture this: you're a gold miner. You've got a plot of land, and you know there's gold down there. So you start digging. Day after day, you're out there with your pickaxe and shovel. You're moving tons of dirt, sweating buckets, but nothing. No gold. Most people, they get discouraged. They think this spot is a bust. They pack up, move to a new spot, and start all over again from zero. But the smart miner, the one with true perseverance, is different. He knows the gold doesn't just jump out of the ground. He keeps digging. He smashes through the hard rock. He sifts through every bucket of dirt. Maybe he's moved tons of earth without a single sparkle, but he doesn't quit. Maybe he changes his angle. Maybe he sharpens his pickaxe. He's patient because he knows that every layer of dirt he removes is one layer closer to the payload. And finally, maybe after thousands of swings, he strikes that first vein of gold. That is perseverance in business. You don't always see the gold on day one. The silent killer, shiny object syndrome, SOS. But here is the silent enemy that destroys our perseverance. In the biz world, we call it shiny object syndrome, SOS. You know the feeling? You're locked in on a project, a business idea, or a financial plan. You're making progress. But then, boom, a new idea pops up. It looks easier. It looks sexier. It promises massive returns with half the work. It glitters like a shiny object begging for your attention. So what do? You drop what you're doing and chase the new thing. You start digging a new well. Then another shiny object appears and you jump again. In the end, you have dug a dozen shallow holes all over the place, but you never went deep enough to hit the water. You have 10 started projects and 0 finished ones. Shiny object syndrome destroys focus. It makes your efforts scattered and useless. It's like constantly changing your mining spot and wondering why you never find gold. The art of the pivot. So what is smart perseverance? It's not acting like a blind sheep running into a wall. It's about the pivot. It's the willingness to learn from failure from the days you didn't find gold. It's stopping to analyze, why isn't this working? And then adjusting your strategy or upgrading your tools. Think of a sailor in a storm. A resilient sailor doesn't abandon the ship just because the waves get high. No, they adjust the sails. They change course if they have to. They ride the waves, but they never lose sight of the destination. It's the same in finance. Maybe a marketing strategy flopped. Maybe a product didn't sell. Maybe an investment took a hit. The blind grinder keeps throwing money at a bad idea, hoping it magically works. The smart grinder pauses, learns, and pivots. They don't change the goal. They just change the path to get there. Real-world titans. Let's look at the titans of our time. Look at Elon Musk with SpaceX. Rockets were blowing up left and right, literally exploding on the launch pad. He was ridiculed. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy. Did he quit? No. He learned from every explosion. He tweaked the design. He iterated. And now he's dominating the space industry. He didn't stubbornly stick to a broken design. He innovated through failure. Look at J.K. Rowling. She was rejected by a dozen publishers. 12 people told her no. If she had quit after the 5th or 10th rejection, the world wouldn't have Harry Potter. She persevered not because she was stubborn, but because she believed in the value of her story. Look at Steve Jobs. The guy got fired from his own company. That is a career-ending moment for most people. But instead of quitting tech, he built Next, and Pixar learned massive lessons and came back to turn Apple into the giant it is today. That is perseverance with direction. The takeaway, the journey to wealth, the journey to building anything of value, is never a straight line. There will be days you want to throw in the towel, days you want to find an easier path. That is when you need to remember the power of smart perseverance. Remember why you started. Be the patient gold miner. Listen to the market's feedback. Pivot when you need to, but never ever quit on the dream. One small step every day, one lesson learned from failure, that is how you win. Don't let shiny object syndrome pull you off track. Perseverance isn't about speed. It's about direction and grit. Be the one who finds the treasure because you stayed in the game when everyone else left. Don't quit halfway. Because for all you know, that next swing of the pickaxe is the one that hits the gold. In the next chapter, we're going to cover another massive principle from the art of money getting, risk management, and smart saving. You don't want to miss that. If this video gave you some value or fired you up, do me a favor, smash that like button, share this with your grind partners, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep digging. Welcome back to the series, guys. We've been breaking down the timeless wisdom from The Art of Money Getting by P.T. Barnum. In the last few chapters, we dug deep into the mindset, the strategy, and the foundational rules for building wealth. But today, we are diving into something that I believe is the secret sauce. It's not just the foundation for financial success. It is the key to finding actual joy and meaning in the daily grind. Welcome to Chapter 4, The Personal Touch, Turning Your Work into Art. Let me ask you something real quick. Do you ever feel like you are just phoning it in? You know the feeling. You look at your to-do list and you're just checking boxes like a robot. You're rushing to finish so you can move on, or just staring at the clock waiting for 5 p.m. I think we've all been there. That is when work becomes a burden. It becomes a chore. It becomes lifeless. But there is another way. There is a different approach where every task, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to express yourself. An opportunity to leave your signature mark. This is the massive difference between getting it done and doing it with heart. Think about it. When you just get it done, you're following the manual. The result, it's usually fine. It's adequate. But it's forgettable. It's like cooking a recipe without adding any spices. It fills you up, but it has no soul. But when you work with heart, you aren't just executing a task. You are living it. You are constantly asking, how can I make this 1% better? How can I make this smoother? How can I make this shine? You laser focus on the details. It stops being an obligation and starts being a contribution. The result isn't just a finished product. It's an experience. It's a piece of art with your identity stamped on it. To visualize this, let's take a trip to a workshop. Picture a carpenter. He's not some world-famous sculptor, he's just a regular guy, but he is obsessed with his craft. He gets an order for an oak dining table. To anyone else, it's just wood and glue. But watch him work. He doesn't just grab the first plank he sees. He takes the time to read the wood. He looks at the grain, feels the texture, and figures out exactly which piece will tell the best story. When he cuts with absolute precision. Not because he's scared of messing up, but out of respect for the material. When he sands it, he isn't just smoothing it out. He's feeling for that perfect silky finish. Every joint, every drop of glue is applied with intention. He's building it to last, yes, but he's also building it to be beautiful. He'll tell you that when he finishes a table, he doesn't just see furniture. He sees the patience he put in. He sees the family dinners that will happen around it. He pours his soul and his skills into every inch. And the result? It's not just a table anymore. It's a centerpiece with a soul. His clients aren't just buying wood. They are buying a story. They are buying dedication. They are buying a piece of craftsmanship you simply cannot find in a mass-produced factory. That table creates a connection. That is the supreme value created by the personal touch. So what does a carpenter have to do with you? Whether you're an office worker, a salesperson, a coder, or a teacher, this applies to you 100%. When you pour your heart into your work, you aren't just creating a better product. You are building an invisible but priceless asset, your reputation. Imagine a waiter who remembers your order before you even sit down. Or an IT specialist who doesn't just fix your computer, but follows up to make sure you're good to go. Or a salesperson who isn't trying to force a deal, but actually listens to solve your problem. Those little actions, those personal touches compound over time. Customers come back. Colleagues trust you. Bosses promote you. Why? Because they know you are the person they can count on. They know you don't just work for the paycheck. You work for excellence. You can't buy a reputation, but a good reputation will make you more money than any marketing strategy ever could. It opens doors. It attracts partners. It builds a career that lasts. Sometimes we think only the big jobs, the CEOs and the founders deserve that level of passion. That is a lie. Every job is a piece of the puzzle. Whether you are organizing a file, writing an email, or sweeping a floor, how you do it contributes to the culture, the product, and the experience. The bottom line is this: it's not what you do, It's how you choose to do it. It's about taking pride in the process. So here is my challenge to you today. Look at your work with fresh eyes. Find one thing, just one thing where you can add your personal touch. Maybe it's how you format a report. Maybe it's how you greet your team. Maybe it's how you solve a tiny problem no one else cares about. Ask yourself, can I put a little bit of me into this? When you stop seeing work as just a survival mechanism and start seeing it as a stage to perform your talent, everything shifts. The grind becomes a game. Money stops being the only goal and becomes the reward for the value you provide. And most importantly, you find deep meaning in your own journey. Remember, in this fast-paced, noisy world, the thing that makes you stand out isn't just your job title, it's your signature. Treat your work like art. Treat it as an extension of yourself. Because when you work with heart, you don't just make money, you build a legacy and you live a full life. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope this chapter sparked something in you. I'll see you in the next chapter where we dig even deeper into the art of wealth and living well. Smash that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Welcome back, guys, to our deep dive into the art of money getting by P.T. Barnum, the man who turned pure creativity and vision into an empire. In the last few chapters, we covered the basics: hard work, integrity, and understanding the value of a dollar. But today, Barnum is taking us to the next level. We are talking about a concept that is smarter, faster, and frankly modern as hell, even though this advice is over a century old. Today we are unlocking the power of smart leverage. This is about investing in tools and people to maximize your output. It's the difference between working hard and working smart. And trust me, this isn't some boring business theory. This is the single most expensive lesson I've ever learned, and it completely changed how I view spending versus investing. Part 1. The new definition of tools. When Barnum talked about tools back in the 1800s, he probably meant plows, looms, and industrial machines. But in the 21st century, that definition has exploded. Today, tools aren't just physical things you can touch. They are invisible forces that give you superpowers. Sure, it's hardware. A blazing fast laptop, a pro smartphone, or the lighting setup I'm using to film this right now. But it's also software, the AI that automates your busy work. It's knowledge, the online course that shortcuts your learning curve by years. It's network, the relationships you build that open doors no money can buy. And I'll take it a step further. Your health is a tool. A sharp mind and a fit body are the ultimate productivity hacks. Investing in quality sleep, proper nutrition, meditation, or a gym membership isn't an expense. It's maintenance for your most important asset, you. Think about it. How much opportunity have you burned because you were too tired, brain-fogged, or stressed to perform at your best? Part 2. The art of delegation. Hire people better than you. Now let's talk about the ultimate tool, other people. Barnum dropped a classic line, hire people better than you. This sounds counterintuitive. Might even hurt your ego. But this is the secret weapon of every great business. The art of delegation isn't just about being lazy. It's about recognizing your limits. You might go fast alone, but you go far with a team. I remember when this YouTube channel started taking off. I tried to be the hero. I did everything: writing, filming, editing, SEO, replying to every comment. I thought, no one can do it like me. But then I hit a wall. I burned out. The quality dropped because I was spread too thin. Most importantly, I had zero time for the one thing only I could do: strategy, creativity, connecting with you guys. When I finally swallowed my pride and hired people better than me, a pro editor, a community manager, a thumbnail artist, I didn't just buy back my time. I multiplied my ability. The channel grew faster, The videos looked better, and I had the energy to actually bring you value. Stop trying to be the marketing guy, the finance guy, the IT guy, and the CEO all at once. Hire the best for each role and stay in your zone of genius. That is smart leverage. Part 3. The penny-wise, pound-foolish trap. And this brings us to the deadly mistake Barnum warned us about. Don't mistake economy for stinginess. Or as we say, tripping over dollars to pick up pennies. So many people refuse to invest in tools or talent because they want to save money. They waste hours doing manual data entry instead of buying a $20 software that does it in seconds. They spend months trying to piece together free info on YouTube instead of buying a structured course from an expert. They do everything themselves to avoid paying a salary only to burn out and miss huge opportunities. That isn't saving money. That is capping your potential. I've been guilty of this. Once I needed a data analysis tool for a project. It cost a few $100 a year. I cheaped out. I thought, I can build a spreadsheet to do this for free. I spent a whole week building complex formulas in Excel. I got the result eventually. But it wasn't as accurate, and it cost me an entire week of my life. If I had just paid the money, I would have had the answer in an hour and spent the rest of the week making money on something else. My saving actually cost me thousands in lost productivity. Part 4. The story of the slow computer. Let me give you a real-world example. I know a graphic designer. Talented guy, but he was working on an ancient computer. I'm talking dinosaur era. Every time he tried to render a video or open a big Photoshop file, the thing would freeze, crash, or take hours. He'd say, I'll upgrade when it dies. Right now it works fine, but I did the math for him. He was losing 1 to 2 hours a day just waiting on his computer or redoing work after a crash. That's 10 hours a week. That is 500 hours a year. That is 2 months of full-time work wasted staring at a loading screen. He finally bit the bullet and financed a high-end workstation. The result, renders took minutes, not hours. No more crashes. He suddenly had time to take on more clients, learn new skills, and tackle bigger projects his old machine couldn't handle. That computer wasn't an expense. It was a money-printing machine. It paid for itself in a month. Conclusion. Invest in your leverage. The lesson from Barnum is clear. Don't be afraid to spend money to buy speed and efficiency. Ask yourself right now, is there a tool you're too cheap to buy that would save you hours every week? Is there a skill you're trying to hack instead of just paying to learn properly? Is there a task you're hoarding that you should be paying someone else to do? Sometimes you have to give to get. You have to spend money to buy time. And trust me, you won't regret it. Think about that, and I'll see you in the next chapter for another golden rule from the Master of Wealth. Smash that like button if you're ready to leverage up. We are moving page by page through the lessons of P.T. Barnum, the master of money and the king of business. And today we are hitting a chapter that is critical not just for beginners, but especially for those of you who are already winning. Welcome to Chapter 6. The complacency trap. Keep your feet on the ground. Real talk for a second. This chapter is the one I need to listen to over and over again. Because the most dangerous thing in business isn't failure. It's the feeling of, I've made it. It's that voice saying, I know everything now. That is the root of complacency, and it can destroy everything you've built faster than any competitor ever could. Barnum saw countless talented entrepreneurs crumble. Not because the market was too hard, but because their egos got too big. They lost touch with reality. Let me tell you a story. It's about a guy named Bob. But honestly, this story is a mirror for a lot of us. The story of cafe sunshine and the shadow of ego. Once upon a time, there was a guy named Bob. Bob was a coffee genius. He had passion, he had grit, and with a tiny bit of capital, he opened a small spot called Cafe Sunshine. In the beginning, Bob was in the trenches. He did everything: sourcing the beans, roasting them, brewing every cup, cleaning tables, and talking to every customer. He knew if Mrs. Jones liked her latte hot or extra hot. He tracked every penny from the cost of milk to the electric bill. Bob knew his business down to its DNA. Because of that obsession with quality and detail, Cafe Sunshine blew up. Lines around the block, rave reviews, revenue skyrocketed. Bob opened a second location, then a third. He built a little empire. And that is exactly when the problem started. As the business grew, Bob stopped showing up. He moved into a fancy office downtown. He spent his days at high-end seminars, playing golf, and rubbing shoulders with the elite. In his mind, the cafes ran themselves. He had managers. He had baristas. He thought he had built a perfect machine. He started ignoring the details that made him successful. Customers complained the coffee tasted burnt. Bob shrugged it off. Staff morale was low. Bob didn't notice. Prices went up, but service went down. Bob thought, you can't please everyone. He stopped checking the invoices. He stopped looking at the employee timesheets. He trusted his managers blindly, with zero checks and balances. Slowly, the sunshine faded. The coffee lost its aroma. The pastries got stale. The staff felt abandoned. Costs bloated because no one was watching the bottom line. Profits tanked, but Bob kept telling himself, it's just a market fluctuation. We'll be fine. One day, Bob woke up and realized his empire was on the brink of bankruptcy. The customers were gone. The debt was piling up. By the time he went back to find the root cause, it was too late. The smell of fresh coffee had been replaced by the smell of arrogance. The lesson: know your business from the roots up. Bob's story isn't rare. It is the textbook definition of the complacency trap. When we win, our ego starts whispering, you're too important for the small stuff. You don't need to be in the weeds. That is the moment you start losing. Barnum stresses that a leader must understand their business from the roots up. He isn't saying you have to scrub the floors forever. But you must understand the floor scrubbing process deeply. If you sell coffee, you need to know the cost of a bean and the temperature of the roast. If you're in service, you need to know the exact customer journey and where the friction points are. If you manufacture, you need to know your raw materials better than anyone. When I started this YouTube channel, I did everything: scripting, filming, editing, SEO, analytics. Now I have a team, but because I spent years in the trenches, I know exactly what quality looks like. I know how long an edit should take. I don't just look at the view count. I look at retention graphs and specific comments. Those are my roots. The danger of blind delegation. Bob's biggest mistake was blind delegation. Success makes you lazy. It makes you think things will run perfectly without you. Trusting your team is good, but trusting without verifying, that is negligence. Barnum warns us to have eyes everywhere, not to micromanage, but to ensure the ship is steering correctly. Demand clear reporting. Don't just look at the total revenue. Look at the breakdown. Where is the money leaking? Spot checks. Be a mystery shopper in your own business. Walk in unannounced. What you see with your own eyes is worth 10 spreadsheets. Customer feedback. This is gold. Complaints are your early warning system. Don't ignore them. Smart delegation means giving people authority, but keeping the final responsibility. Stay humble. Stay hungry. Success is not a destination. It's a journey on a treadmill. If you stop running, you fly off the back. The market changes. Technology evolves. Barnum encourages a lifelong student mentality. Keep reading. Stay obsessed with your industry. Keep listening. Listen to your lowest paid employee. Listen to your angry customers. Keep experimenting. Don't get stuck in the way we've always done it. And above all, keep your feet on the ground. Humility isn't about low self-esteem. It's about realizing that you don't know everything and that your success today doesn't guarantee success tomorrow. Humility keeps your ego in check and your mind open. The recap. So here is the takeaway from Chapter 6. Kill the ego. Success is your enemy if it makes you arrogant. Know the roots. Understand the tiny details that drive your profit. Trust but verify, delegate. But keep your eyes open. Never stop learning. Stay humble or the market will humble you. I hope Bob's story hit home for you. Don't let success be your downfall. Use it as a foundation to build something that lasts. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about seizing the opportunity, the art of the hustle. Thanks for listening. Smash that like button if you're committed to staying humble, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We've been writing together through 6 chapters, laying down the foundation to make and keep money wisely. But today, we are diving into one of the most dangerous traps in the game. A trap that I guarantee has made you facepalm or feel a serious pang of regret at least once in your life. Welcome to Chapter 7. Focus is king. Don't get distracted by golden opportunities. Sounds simple, right? Just stay focused. But in reality, this is a constant war against your own psychology, the marketplace of distraction. Do you ever feel like you're standing in the middle of a chaotic marketplace? Everyone is screaming about the next golden ticket. Tech stocks are going to the moon. Real estate is exploding right now. This new crypto coin is going to change the world. It's a whirlwind of hype. You hear these inflated success stories, and suddenly you're sucked into this endless cycle of comparison and craving. The gardener metaphor. To make this stick, I want you to picture a gardener. He has this one plot of fertile land. It's not huge, but it's his. He plants his seeds. He waters them meticulously. He weeds the soil by hand. He learns exactly what his plants need. And guess what? His garden thrives. It produces a massive harvest. But then, he looks over the fence. He hears a neighbor is growing some new, hot, exotic fruit that promises 10x returns. Another guy claims he's running 10 different farms at once and making a killing. Instead of doubling down on his own thriving garden, our guy gets impatient. He thinks, why not me? I want 10 gardens. I want to get rich fast like them. So he scatters his attention. He rushes to buy more land. He plants seeds he knows nothing about. His resources get spread too thin. He stops watering the original garden because he's too busy running around trying to manage the new ones. The result: the first garden dies from neglect. The new gardens fail because he didn't have the skill or time to handle them. He ends up exhausted, broke, and with zero harvest. The FOMO virus. Your career and your money work exactly the same way. We have a tendency to scatter our resources when we aren't fully secure in our core game yet. Why do we do this? One word: FOMO. Fear of missing out. It's that gut-wrenching fear that everyone else is getting rich on a golden opportunity while you're standing still. When the stock market rallies, or housing prices spike, or everyone at the dinner table is talking about Bitcoin, it is so easy to jump on the bandwagon without actually knowing where it's going. I've been there. I've looked at friends flexing gains from some random stock herd stories of overnight millionaires and thought, am I the idiot here? Should I jump in? And usually those emotional, uneducated decisions are the most expensive lessons I've ever learned. You don't just lose money. You waste the time and energy you should have spent on what you're actually good at. The Oracle's advice circle of competence. So, how do we stop the bleeding? Luckily, the giants of finance have left us a roadmap. The GOAT himself, Warren Buffett, gave us the ultimate rule. Invest in what you know. This isn't just about picking stocks. It's a life philosophy. Knowing something doesn't mean reading a headline. It means digging deep. It means understanding the mechanics, the risks, and the core value. If you can't explain how it makes money to a 5-year-old, you probably don't understand it enough to invest in it. While everyone else chases the shiny new thing, Buffett sticks to his circle of competence. He invests in businesses he understands inside and out. That is the power of extreme focus. Mastery before expansion. Here is the bottom line for Chapter 7. Become a master of your core field before you even think about expanding. Be like the smart gardener. Tend your first garden. Become the expert in your job. Sharpen your specific skills. Build your network. Create undeniable value. When you are a master, when your foundation is rock solid and your garden is overflowing, that is when you have the cash and the confidence to look at other opportunities with a clear head. And even then, you expand strategically, not blindly following the herd. Focus is power. Don't let the noise of the crowd or the fear of missing out pull you away from the garden you're already growing. The challenge. Before we wrap this up, I want you to ask yourself one question. Which garden am I tending right now? Or am I just staring at my neighbor's fence? Remember, money is a tool, and how you focus that tool shows your maturity. In the next chapter, we are going to tackle a massive topic: the time value of money. The power of compound interest. You do not want to miss that. Thanks for riding with me. Smash that like button if you're ready to focus, and I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are decoding the timeless philosophies of wealth through a brand new lens, the 21st century lens. Today we're diving into a chapter that I guarantee every single one of us has either faced or will face. It's Chapter 8, Protecting Your Biggest Assets. Reputation and money. Sounds serious, right? Protecting your biggest assets. But trust me, this is one of the most expensive lessons I've ever learned, and I bet you'll see yourself in this too. P.T. Barnum, with his sharp intellect, warned heavily against co-signing or endorsing for others. Now, endorsing sounds like some dusty 19th century term for old contracts. But in our era, it takes on many forms, subtle, sneaky, and dangerous. Think about it. It's co-signing a loan for a friend or family member. It's lending money recklessly without thinking it through. It's putting your personal reputation on the line to vouch for someone else's shaky promise. All these actions, even with the best intentions, put you in what Barnum calls a trap. The hidden risks of being the nice guy. So what happens when we use our money or our name to bail someone out? First and most obvious, financial suicide. When you co-sign a loan, you aren't just helping them get approved. You're telling the bank, if they screw up, I will pay. Period. It's not a character reference. It's a legal shackle. It turns their debt into your debt. I have a friend, let's keep him anonymous, who co-signed a car loan for his younger brother. It started fine. Then the brother lost his job and stopped paying. Suddenly, my friend was on the hook for the monthly payments on a car he didn't even drive. The financial pressure was bad, but worse, his credit score tanked. When he tried to buy his own house later, he got rejected, all because he tried to be nice. But there's another risk we often ignore, reputation risk. If you vouch for a friend to get a job or introduce them to a business partner and they flake out, act unprofessional, or cause damage, who looks bad? You do. Your word, your judgment, your credibility takes the hit. And honestly, money can be earned back. Trust is almost impossible to rebuild. Money versus relationships. The ultimate battle. And let's be real, nothing destroys a relationship faster than money. I know this is hard. We love our families. We value our friends. Our instinct is to help when they're struggling. Who doesn't want to see their loved ones succeed? But there is a thin line between helping someone and drowning with them. I've been there. Friends come to you with hopeful eyes, promising to pay you back next week, next month. It's so hard to say no. We're afraid of hurting their feelings. We're afraid of looking selfish. But listen to me. The goal of helping is to lift someone up, not to sink yourself. If helping threatens your own financial future or your peace of mind, it's not help. It's unnecessary sacrifice, and usually it ends up hurting both of you. Barnum's golden rule. So, how do we navigate this emotional minefield? Barnum gave us a golden rule that everyone needs to tattoo on their brain. Pause. Serious look. Text on screen. Never lend money you aren't willing to lose. Never lend money you aren't willing to lose. Read that again. It doesn't mean you lend it expecting to lose it. It means you must be okay financially and emotionally if you never see that money again. Treat it as a gift. Treat it as tuition for a life lesson. If losing that money would make you broke, stressed, or resentful towards that person, do not lend it, ever. I once had a friend ask for a large sum to start a business. I wanted to help, but the amount was way past my loss threshold. So I didn't give him the cash. Instead, I helped him write a business plan, introduced him to some small investors, and shared my experience. He succeeded. And guess what? Our friendship is stronger than ever because I helped him without putting myself at risk. The art of saying no. This brings us to a financial skill most people suck at: learning to say no with kindness and firmness. Saying no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect and long-term love. You are protecting your stability so you can continue to help people and yourself in the future. Here is how to say no without being a jerk. Be honest but kind. You don't need a list of excuses. A short, sincere explanation works best. I'm really sorry I can't help with money right now. I have my own financial commitments I have to prioritize. I wish I could. But I have a rule not to lend money to friends because I value our friendship too much. Don't give false hope. Don't say, "Let me think about it," if the answer is no. That just drags out the pain. Rip the Band-Aid off. Offer alternative help. If you can't give cash, can you give advice? Can you help them find a job? Can you help them budget? This shows you care about them, not just their wallet. Protecting yourself isn't a choice. It's a responsibility. Responsibility to yourself, your family, and your future. In the journey to sustainable wealth, your reputation and your money are the bedrock of your freedom. Guard them with your life, not out of stinginess, but out of wisdom. Take a moment to think about this. Maybe you're in this situation right now. Listen to your gut. Remember Barnum's golden rule. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is set a clear boundary. That is the true art of keeping money. Thanks for watching. If this video hit home for you, smash that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. See you in the next chapter. I hope the last few chapters gave you some serious perspective on the art of making and managing money. But today, we're stepping into controversial territory. This is the chapter that makes some people uncomfortable, but it is absolutely essential if you want to win. Welcome to Chapter 9. If you don't speak up, no one will know the power of advertising. Let's be real for a second. Most of us, including the old version of me, look at advertising with a side eye. We think it's hype. We think it's manipulation. We think it's tricking people into buying stuff they don't need. I bet you felt that way too, right? But P.T. Barnum, the man who practically invented modern entertainment and marketing, he dedicated an entire chapter to this. And here's the twist. His philosophy on advertising wasn't about deception. It was about duty. He believed that if you have something valuable, it is your duty to let the public know. Let's break down Barnum's ad magic. People call him a showman or a trickster, but his strategies were genius, and they are more relevant today than ever. 1. Be bold or be invisible. Barnum wasn't afraid to make noise. He turned a boring museum into the greatest show on earth. He used giant banners parade sensational headlines. He understood a fundamental truth in a noisy world: if you blend in, you die. You have to make people turn their heads. 2. Consistency is king. Barnum didn't just run one ad and call it a day. He was relentless. He was everywhere. He knew that seeing something once isn't enough. You have to drill your message into the public consciousness through repetition. It's like a catchy song. You have to hear it a few times before you start humming along. 3. Sell the benefit, not the feature. Barnum didn't just sell circus tickets. He sold a once-in-a-lifetime experience. He sold wonder. He sold family joy. He focused on what the customer gets, not just what he had. That is timeless marketing. People don't buy products. They buy solutions and feelings. Think this is just 19th century stuff. Look at our digital world. Personal branding. How you present yourself on LinkedIn or social media is exactly what Barnum did. You have to define your value and shout it from the digital rooftops. Content marketing. The videos you watch, the blogs you read, that is providing value before the sale. It's educating the market. Social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. These are your modern-day parades. You are the Barnum of your own brand. You have to be bold, grab attention, consistent, post regularly, and value-driven, help the viewer. However, there is one non-negotiable rule: your hype must match your quality. Barnum wasn't selling empty boxes. He sold experiences. Sure, he exaggerated, but people left entertained. If you hype up a terrible product, your marketing becomes a double-edged sword. You might get the sale today, but you'll destroy your reputation tomorrow. Trust is hard to build and easy to break. The story of the silent genius. To show you why silence is deadly, let me tell you about a guy named Hank. Hank was a brilliant engineer, a total coffee nerd. He spent years in his garage building the ultimate smart coffee machine. It brewed perfectly, self-cleaned, remembered your preferences, and even auto-ordered beans. It was light years ahead of anything on the market. Hank was proud. He poured his life savings into it. But he had this fatal mindset: the product is so good, it will sell itself. Hank was humble. He didn't want to brag. So he set up a tiny booth at a local tech fair. No big banner, no flashy demo, no story. The result? Crickets. A few people walked by, nodded, and kept moving. Nobody knew that this machine would change their mornings forever. 0 orders. Hank ran out of money and had to scrap the project. The world's best coffee machine ended up in a landfill. The lesson: the best product doesn't win. The best-known product wins. Hank's story is a tragedy, but it's a common one. Value is useless if it's invisible. Advertising isn't a sin. It's a bridge. It connects your value to the people who need it. So stop being shy. Stop waiting to be discovered. Speak up about what you do. Be bold like Barnum. Be consistent. Focus on how you help people. But above all, make sure your product is worth talking about. Remember, if you don't say it, nobody knows it. Thanks for tuning in to Chapter 9. I hope this shifts your mindset on self-promotion. Stop whispering and start broadcasting. See you in the next chapter. We are cracking open a chapter today that honestly might be the most underrated secret in business. It was written over a century ago, but in our digital world, it's more critical than ever. Welcome to Chapter 10. Treat your customers like royalty. The art of politeness and integrity. Sounds obvious, right? Be nice to customers. Duh. But let's be real. How often do businesses trade long-term trust for a quick buck? P.T. Barnum, and the master showman himself, built his empire not just on hype, but on a rock-solid foundation of ethical business. He knew that kindness, honesty, and fairness weren't just moral duties. They were the smartest financial strategies on the planet. Let's dig into why. The true value of a loyal customer. CLV. First off, how much is one loyal customer actually worth? They aren't just a one-time transaction. They are recurring revenue. They are the people who ignore your competitors' ads because they only want you. But most importantly, they become your free brand ambassadors. In modern marketing, we talk about customer acquisition cost, CAC, versus customer retention. It is infinitely cheaper to keep an old customer happy than to hunt for a new one. A loyal fan doesn't need a discount code to buy. They trust you. And trust is currency. When they trust you, they unlock the most powerful marketing tool in history: word of mouth. Think about it. Do you trust a flashy TV ad, or do you trust your best friend who says, "Dude, you have to try this place"? You trust the friend. A recommendation from a happy customer is worth 10 times more than any ad you can run. Investing in kindness is investing in the most effective marketing channel ever invented. Once bitten, twice shy. There's an old saying, trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. In business, this is law. You break a customer's trust, once sell them junk, overcharge them, treat them rudely, and they are gone. Forever. Trust is like a clean sheet of paper. Once you crumple it, you can never make it perfectly smooth again. In the digital age, one bad experience doesn't just stay between you and the customer. It becomes a 1-star Google review. It becomes a viral Twitter rant. It becomes a warning in a Facebook group. You don't just lose one sale. You lose every future sale that person would have influenced. I've seen so many businesses die because they got greedy. They chased the quick nickel instead of the slow dime. Trust is your most valuable asset. Protect it with your life. The tale of two shops, the hustler versus the helper. To visualize this, let me tell you a story about two electronics shops on the same street. Let's call them Shop A and Shop B. Shop A is run by Peter. Peter is a shark. He's a smooth talker. He greets you with a huge fake smile and immediately tries to upsell you the most expensive gadget in the store, whether you need it or not. He runs massive blowout sales. But his return policy is a nightmare, and his products are sketchy. Peter's goal, sales at all costs. Get the money, get them out. Shop B is run by Kate. Kate is different. She listens. When you walk in, she asks what you actually need. If she thinks the cheaper model is better for you, she tells you. If she thinks you don't need to buy anything at all, she tells you that too. Her return policy is simple. She helps you set up your device for free. Kate's goal, a happy customer who comes back. In the beginning, Peter crushed it. His aggressive ads brought in tons of traffic. His sales spiked. But slowly the complaints started. People felt scammed. They realized Peter didn't care about them. They stopped coming back. They warned their friends. Shop A became a ghost town. Meanwhile, Kate started slow. But every person who walked out of her store felt valued. They felt respected. They told their friends, "Go see Kate, she won't rip you off." Kate's business grew on a curve. Her loyal fans brought in more fans. Shop B didn't just survive. It became a local institution. The lesson: sustainable success doesn't come from extracting money. It comes from serving people. Every interaction is an opportunity. So what's the takeaway? Every time a customer walks in, calls, or emails you, that is not a transaction. That is an audition. It's a chance to build a relationship. A genuine smile, an honest recommendation, a hassle-free refund, a sincere apology. When you mess up, these tiny things compound into massive loyalty. Stop looking at the sale value. Look at the customer lifetime value. A happy customer today could be worth thousands of dollars over the next 10 years. P.T. Barnum taught us that the art of money getting isn't just about getting rich. It's about getting rich with honor. The golden rule of business is simple. Treat your customer exactly how you want to be treated. Put yourself in their shoes. Listen to them. Serve them with heart. Never trade your reputation for a quick profit. Your customers are your investors. Treat them like it. In the next chapter, we're going to tackle the fuel that keeps this engine running, the power of perseverance. If you got value from this, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. See you guys at the top. We have learned the theory. Now it's time for the real work. Because honestly, knowledge without action is just entertainment. So I want to invite you to something special. Let's build a concrete 7-day action plan together. This isn't some brutal boot camp. It's a series of small strategic moves to apply P.T. Barnum's wisdom directly into your real life. Think of this as a mini experiment, 1 week to rewire your brain for success. Let's break it down day by day. Days 1 and 2. The vocation audit objective. Does your current work match your zone of genius? Barnum stressed that you must find the work you are naturally built for. If you're in the wrong lane, work is a burden. If you're in the right lane, it's play. For the first 2 days, I want you to get quiet and do a serious audit. Step 1. The honest question. Ask yourself, does this job actually fit my natural talents? Do I feel energized when I do it? Or am I just here for the paycheck and the routine? Note, you don't have to quit your job tomorrow. This is about awareness. Maybe you're in the right place, but doing the wrong tasks. Maybe you need a pivot. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Step 2. The top 3 list. Grab your phone or a notebook and write down your top 3 strengths. Are you a master communicator? A creative visionary? A problem-solving machine? My tip. We focus so much on our weaknesses that we forget our superpowers. Knowing your strengths helps you leverage them right now in your current job. Days 3 and 4. The spending detective objective: track every penny and kill 1. Impulse buy. Barnum said, economy is an art. You can't get rich if your bucket has holes in it. For the next 2 days, you are going to be a financial detective. Step 1. Track everything. I mean everything. That $5 latte, the gas, the random Amazon purchase. Use an app or just a piece of paper. You need to see exactly where the cash is bleeding. Personal experience, I hated doing this at first. But after 2 days, I saw leaks I didn't even know existed. Step 2. Kill 1 impulse buy. Look at your list. Find one thing you bought purely on emotion, something you didn't need. Example. That extra snack. The subscription. You don't use the flash sale item. Step 3. The transfer. Take the exact amount of money you saved by not buying that thing and transfer it to a savings account. Instantly. It sounds small, but it builds a massive habit. You are teaching your brain to value your future over your momentary impulse. Day 5. Deep work mode objective. Pick one mission and execute with 0 distractions. Barnum believed in intense focus. Quality comes from undivided attention. On day 5, we go hardcore. Step 1. The mission. Pick one critical task from your to-do list. Not the busy work, the big thing that actually moves the needle. Step 2. The lockdown. Do this task with 100% focus. Phone on airplane mode. Close all the browser tabs. Tell your family, roommates, I'm going dark for an hour. Do not stop until it's done or you hit a major milestone. My promise. You will be shocked at how much you get done when you cut out the noise. This trains your focus muscle, which is a superpower in our distracted world. Days 6 and 7. The upgrade objective plan. to learn a high-value skill. Barnum was a lifelong learner. He knew that knowledge is power and power is money. To stay ahead, you have to keep upgrading your software. For the final weekend, let's plant the seeds for your future. Step 1. Pick the skill. Identify one skill that would level up your career or income next month. Hard skill, data analysis. Coding, video editing, a new language. Soft skill, public speaking, negotiation, leadership. Step 2. The 15-minute research. You don't have to master it this weekend. Just spend 15 minutes researching. Find a top-rated book. Look for a YouTube tutorial or a Coursera class. Find an expert in that field and see what they recommend. The goal: create a roadmap. 15 minutes is a small investment that starts the momentum. And there it is. 7 days. 7 steps. Small moves, massive potential. This isn't about being perfect. It's about starting. It's about building the muscle of intention. Barnum showed us the path. Now we have to walk it. So, are you in start today? And hey, after 7 days, come back to this video and leave a comment. Tell me what you learned, what you saved, or what skill you're learning. I want to hear your wins. If you're ready to level up your life, smash that like button, share this challenge with a friend, and subscribe so we can keep growing together. Let's get to work. We have been on an epic journey together, decoding the art of money getting. It sounds complicated, right? But when you strip it all down, wealth is actually built on timeless, unbreakable principles. We've dissected the theories, analyzed the strategies, and listened to the masters. Now it's time to distill everything into pure gold. Before we close this chapter, I want to hand you 3 gems, the 3 golden rules. These aren't just tips. They are the compass that will navigate you through the noise and help you dominate your financial game no matter where you're starting from. Are you ready? Let's lock these in. Golden rule number 1. Build a rock-solid foundation. If you remember only one thing from this entire series, let it be this. It is deceptively simple, yet it is the bedrock of all empires. 1. Spend less than you earn. 2. Avoid bad debt like the plague. Imagine building a skyscraper. You can have the fanciest glass windows and the tallest spire, but if the foundation is cracked, the first storm will bring it down. Your finances are the same. The gap between your income and your spending, what I call the financial void, is the concrete for your foundation. Spending less doesn't mean living like a monk and eating ramen forever. It means living consciously. It means knowing exactly where your dollars flow. It means creating a surplus every single month to invest, save, and build a safety net. That surplus, compounded over time, is what makes you rich. And secondly, kill bad debt. Bad debt is the enemy. It's borrowing money to buy things that lose value, credit card shopping sprees, financing flashy gadgets to impress people you don't like. Bad debt is a boulder tied to your ankle. It steals your freedom, eats your income with interest, and destroys your mental peace. The foundation is having cash in your pocket, not owing cash to a bank. Simple as that. Golden rule. Number 2. Wealth is built on focus and grit. Once the foundation is set, what do we build on top focus and grit? Real wealth doesn't come from chasing every shiny object. It comes from mastering your craft. We live in a world of get-rich-quick schemes. I call it green grass syndrome, thinking everyone else has it easier. But sustainable wealth is rarely a sprint. It's a marathon. It comes from committing to one path and digging deep. Focus means pouring your energy into a few core things instead of spreading yourself thin. Be the expert. Be the person who delivers undeniable quality. A deep well provides water for a lifetime. 100 shallow puddles dry up in a day. And grit perseverance is the glue. There will be days you want to quit. There will be failures. But the ability to get back up, to keep moving forward inch by inch, that is the secret sauce. The mightiest oak tree started as a tiny seed that refused to give up. Be the oak. Golden rule number 3. Invest in the ultimate assets. You and your word. This is the investment with infinite ROI, return on investment. 1. Invest in your self-knowledge. 2. Invest in your reputation, integrity. Think about it. What is the one asset no market crash can take away from you? Your brain, your skills, continuous learning, reading books, taking courses. Upgrading your skills is the only investment that guarantees a compound return with zero risk. In the information age, knowledge is capital. It helps you make smarter decisions and spot opportunities others miss. And finally, invest in your reputation. Reputation is invisible currency. It is built on the small things, keeping promises, being transparent, treating people fairly. Trust is the most valuable currency in business. It opens doors money can't buy. When you have integrity, people want to work with you. They want to help you win, but lose your reputation. It's almost impossible to buy back. Treat your integrity like a bridge to your future. Build it strong and guard it with your life. The recap. So there you have it, the holy trinity of wealth. The foundation: spend less than you earn and kill bad debt. The strategy: focus on one thing and have the grit to stick with it. The investment: bet on yourself and protect your reputation. These aren't magic tricks. They are simple, clear, and battle-tested by history's greatest winners. Now the ball is in your court. Take these seeds of wisdom and plant them in your own financial garden. Thank you for riding with me on this journey. Let's get out there and build something great. All right, guys, we have officially crossed the finish line on our deep dive into The Art of Money Getting by P.T. Barnum. This man wasn't just a master of entertainment. He was a true master of authentic wealth. I hope that through this series, you've realized that advice from over a century ago isn't outdated. In fact, in our crazy, volatile world today, his words are actually sharper and more relevant than ever before. Personally, every time I revisit this book or prep these videos for you, I get a new spark. I realize that Barnum isn't just teaching us how to make money. He's teaching us a lifestyle. He's teaching us how to treat our work, our dollars, and ourselves. It's a philosophy of taking total ownership. But here's the trap. Knowing is easy, understanding is okay, but doing that is a whole different ballgame. Knowledge is useless until you actually apply it. It only has value when it turns into concrete steps on your own path. Do not let these timeless gems just sit in your brain or stay stuck on your phone screen. Let them be the lighthouse guiding your next financial move. And I believe every 1,000-mile journey starts with a single step, so why not take that step right now today? To kickstart that journey, I have a few things I want us to do together. First, I want to hear from you. Out of all the principles Barnum shared, from money is a good servant but a bad master to select the right vocation or beware of debt, which rule hit you the hardest? Which one made you nod your head and say, I need to fix this immediately? Drop a comment below. Tell me the rule, and more importantly, tell me how you are going to apply it, even if it's just a tiny baby step. I believe that writing it down, committing to yourself, and sharing it with this community is a massive power move. It helps it stick, and it inspires everyone else reading the comments. So don't be shy. Next up, if this video gave you value, if it gave you a fresh perspective on money, or if it just got you fired up to handle your business, smash that like button. It's a huge high five to me and the team. But it also tells the YouTube algorithm that this is valuable content, which helps spread this wisdom to other people who really need to hear it. And obviously, if you don't want to miss the next deep dive or the next life lesson distilled from the world's greatest minds, make sure you are subscribed so we can keep exploring together. Also think about this. Do you have a friend or family member who needs this timeless advice? Maybe they are struggling with debt, looking for motivation, or just need a mindset shift. Share this video with them. Seriously, sometimes one small act of sharing can be the spark that changes someone's entire life. Give them the gift of wisdom. It might be the seed for their future success. Finally, if you want to go full beast mode and really soak in every word of Barnum's genius, I highly recommend grabbing the original book, The Art of Money Getting. We covered the highlights here, but nothing beats reading the source material yourself. It's not just a manual. It's a timeless companion on your road to financial freedom. I've dropped a link in the description where you can pick up a copy. Remember, no one gets rich overnight. The financial journey is a marathon, not a sprint. But every smart decision, every action backed by wisdom, is a brick in the foundation of your future. I believe in your ability. I believe in the power of learning and doing. Start today. Don't wait. Take action, keep learning, and never stop growing. Thank you so much for riding with me on this video. I'll catch you in the next one where we'll unlock more infinite wisdom to help you build a richer, more meaningful life. Peace.